Father, I just thank you and praise you so much for this conference. Lord, I thank you for all these people who've got a heart to bring the gospel to your people, the Jews. Lord, I pray that you'll give me the words to say today to help express this opportunity that people have to bring the gospel to the Jews through hospitality. It will be done in Jesus' name. Amen. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Della. I'm a wheat farmer from northwestern New South Wales in Australia, about 7 hours drive northwest of Sydney. I'm the secretary of Omri Jakubowicz, who runs he's founder of the Ends of the Earth Ministry, Toyota Ministry, and the HIT Network, hosting Israeli travellers. He was supposed to be doing this workshop today, but he couldn't make it today, so you get to have me instead. Yeah. So Omri is native-born Israeli. He grew up in a secular kibbutz in Israel, and he came to faith when he was backpacking around the world, staying in a hostel run by a Christian lady in New Zealand. One for Israel has done 2 versions of his testimony, one in Hebrew with English subtitles, and we've also got subtitles for that in other languages. And we've also, this one's in English, but we're also translating that in subtitles in other languages. I highly recommend you watch these videos. We'll watch the English one now.
Isaac Rabin. Have you heard of him? This is the first time in Jewish history that a Jew killed the chosen leader of the Jewish nation. But it's not the first time in Jewish history. Excuse me? She said, this is what you did to Yeshua. Shalom, my name is Omri. I was born and raised in a secular kibbutz in Israel. Kibbutzim were based on pure communism. The motto behind the kibbutz was, everybody gives as much as they can and receives as much as they need. But I think that I was only 3 years old when I understood for the first time in my life that one day I will die. Why? It just made no sense to me at all. I would have preferred never to be born, than to be born, to live, and then to die. What people in Israel do as they finish their military service, before they start their real lives, that they just want to break free, so they go and travel around the world and just have some fun. I did likewise. To the outside, everything seems to be fine, but inside, there's one huge emptiness. But no matter what you try to fill it up with, it still remains empty. I traveled to Thailand, Australia, New Zealand. I landed in Auckland, in the North Island. Somebody told me about this beautiful seaside resort town called Paia in the Bay of Islands. All the hostels were in the same street there. It's called King's Road. I put my backpack on and I went to that hostel. I entered the office. There was a counter there with a bell. I rang the bell, and behind the curtain came this woman. She was in her early mid-40s. She looked at me and she said, "You're an Israeli. How did you know that? You're God's chosen people. You're very, very special people to God." And already I started thinking to myself, how did I get myself out? 3 or 4 days after I moved into that hostel, this woman came to me saying, "Come on, talk to me." She said, "I want to understand how you, the Jews, the Israelis, how you think." And she kept on saying all the time, "You're God's chosen people." I said to her, "Yitzhak Rabin, Isaac Rabin. Have you heard of him?" I said to her that Rabin was the head of the Israeli army in the most glorious war of modern-day states of Israel. And almost 30 years later, I said to her, another Jew, in the name of God, decided to assassinate him, for Rabin wanted to sign a peace treaty giving back land for peace. So you tell me, I asked this woman, what's so chosen, what's so better about us, the Jews? And I added, this is the first time in Jewish history that a Jew killed the chosen leader of the Jewish nation. But it's not the first time in Jewish history. So I said to her, excuse me? She said, this is what you did to Yeshua. And I said to her, listen, lady. But she said, I'm not mixing anything. Yeshua was the chosen leader of the Jewish nation, but the Jewish people did not want to have him. And instinctively, I knew inside 4 things. I knew that just like myself, this Yeshua, as I knew him back then, was a Jew. I knew that just like myself, he was born and raised in Israel. Even though I knew nothing about what he taught, I've heard sometimes before, somewhere, somehow, that he gave the world the highest moral code and ethics, and I knew for a fact that he influenced the world more than any other human being ever walked the face of this earth. The open-minded and secular and pluralistic kibbutz where I've been brought up, they taught us about Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar and Napoleon and Hitler. All these men that truly influenced world events, but none of them was a Jew. None of them was born or raised in Israel. None of them has influenced the world as much as this guy. How come they tell us nothing about him in Israel? Are they trying to hide something from me? So I started asking this woman some questions. Now at some point I could see that everything this woman believed in was based on one thing and one thing only. Her firm belief that 3 days after he was crucified, after he died and after he was buried, that this Yeshua Minatzeret, this Jesus of Nazareth, has been raised from the dead. Surely if there's God in heaven who spoke this world into being, then it wouldn't be too complicated for him to raise someone from the dead, if that's what you chose to do. Perhaps I could be raised from the dead too. Right away, it took me back to the time I was only 3 years old. Why was I born? Perhaps this could be the key to unlock this mystery I had since I was a very young boy. I remember opening the Brit Chadasha, the New Testament. What I had in mind was that the New Testament was a Christian book. In fact, I thought it was the Christian manual for the persecution of the Jews, but what I read in the book of Matthew was the complete opposite. It is the reading of the Tanakh, the Old Testament, that convinced me beyond any doubt that Yeshua, Jesus, is a promised Jewish Messiah that was foretold by the Hebrew prophets in the Hebrew scriptures. Every page I turned in the Old Testament, I could see the Messiah. I knew Yeshua was a Messiah, and I had a great desire to share it with every Israeli I would meet.
So that was one of Omri's testimony. Oh.
Have you heard of him? This is the first.
So that's the English version. There's also a Hebrew version which comes from a completely different angle, talking about his army life and how he came to be come to know that Yeshua was Messiah. Now, when Omri's traveling around the world, he shares his testimony, and then he shares about the importance and significance of Jewish evangelism, how important it is to give the gospel to the Jewish people. Now, I don't need to convince you anything about that. You are already doing that, so we don't need to go into that. But this is what Omri talks about when he travels. This is his main message. This is the very most important part of what he does. So, and then Omri, after he talked about the importance of Jewish evangelism, he then introduces the HIT network, Hosting Israeli Travelers Network. And we'll watch a 2-minute presentation, the 2-minute version of what he usually shares on the road.
Shalom, my name is Omri. I'm a native-born Israeli. I was born and raised in a secular kibbutz in Israel. Like everyone else in Israel, after high school, we all went to the army. It's compulsory. And what people in Israel do as they finish the army, they go and travel around the world. I was 27 years old when I arrived for the first time in my life to New Zealand. I was confronted with the claims that Yeshua is a promised Jewish Messiah that was foretold by the Hebrew prophets in the Hebrew scriptures. And ever since, my heart desire and prayer to God was for the people of Israel that they might be saved. In the year 2000, I started a network called HIT, Hosting Israeli Travelers in New Zealand, where evangelical Christians are opening their hearts and homes
inviting Israeli backpackers to come and stay with them as means of showing them the love of God for them, telling them that God has not forsaken his people, which he foreknew, and obviously when the opportunity presents itself, also share the gospel with them. Now, wherever you may live on the face of this earth, did you know that there might be some Israeli backpackers in your area? And I believe the time has come to go and run this network or operate this network in other parts of the world as well. If you are Bible-believing Christians, if you believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, if you believe in the God of Israel, Romans 11:11 says that salvation has come to the Gentiles to provoke the Jewish people to jealousy. My challenge to you is do not rob yourselves of this great opportunity in reaching out to the native-born Israelis with the gospel of Messiah. The greatest commission that any true born-again believers can do is to share the gospel. And the Romans 1:16 says, with the Jew first. Open your heart, open your home. Invite the Israeli backpackers to come and stay in your own house, and you will be shocked to find out that God can even use you. Why don't you come and join us? And may God bless you as you bless his people.
Now this video, we've got subtitles, translated in subtitles into 20 languages now. So if you're interested to pass this video, this link on to other people, if you go to our YouTube, TOT Ministry YouTube channel, there's 20 languages there and more. So we believe that the HIT network is the most exciting outreach to to the Jews in the whole world. Now, there's lots of amazing ways to reach the Jewish people, and this building is full of all kinds of ways to do that. And we support and we encourage people to support each and every one of them. But what's unique about the HIT network is that you can become missionaries to the Jews without even leaving your home. There's no other mission organisation you can do that with, but you can with the HIT network. So hospitality is the most powerful way to share not only your faith but also your life. This is something that Omri often speaks about. So this is a friendship evangelism. It's not aggressive. We want you to bless the Israelis and to love them. And you'll find that they will ask you questions. There's no need to, like, lots of people are a bit scared about evangelism. You don't need to be scared of evangelism with hospitality. It comes to you. So just show them love and mercy and friendship and support. Now, what are the kind of hosts? Who are we looking for? We're looking for ordinary people like you and me who we're looking for anybody that loves Israel, who's got a heart for Israel and the Jews, anybody on the planet, which includes Israelis. If you know Israelis living outside of Israel that may like to host Israelis, if you know Jewish people who love Israel that might like to host Israelis, they're very welcome to be on the network. But we target Christians, Bible-believing Christians who love Israel and the Jews and who want to use this as an opportunity to share Messiah with these young people. Now, we don't want you to join here just so you can bash them with Jesus. Please don't. But we do want you to join so that you can share the Messiah with them. Now, HIT is a travel club. We run it as a travel club for Israelis. The HIT network itself is not a ministry. It's a tool, a way that Christians can connect with Israeli people. So what we offer the Israelis is two things: the cheapest and most attractive travel possible outside of Israel, where they save a whole bunch on accommodation costs, and they also get a home away from home experience. Now, they all know that these are Christians. The first thing that they read about is that you are a Gentile Christian or whatever you are, a Messianic believer. So they know there's Christians, and so this is a way for them to experience your culture and your faith from within your home. Now, what hosting with us does not mean, you don't have to take every Israeli that calls you at any time. It's completely up to you to run your hosting, your home, whichever way suits you. So you don't have to take everybody at any time. It's up to you to take or refuse guests, whatever your reasons are. You don't need to entertain your visitors. They'll take care of themselves during the day. They just need somewhere to crash for the night. And we don't expect you to cook for your visitors, or you don't have to provide them with laundry or internet or anything like that. You're free to do all of these things. If you would like to do these things, you're very welcome to, but you're not required to. What we do ask is 3 basic things. Somewhere for them to sleep. It could be a bed, could be a sofa or a couch, or even a mattress on the floor is fine. If you don't have room in your house, or you might have room in your yard for them to pitch a tent or park a camper van or a motorhome. Lots of them rent these things when they come here. Lots of Israelis travel with camping gear. So if you've got a place in your yard where they can sleep out there, that would be great too. The second thing we ask is a toilet and shower that they can use. And the third thing is a kitchen where they can cook. It doesn't have to be a separate kitchen. It doesn't have to be a kosher kitchen. Most of the Israelis who use the hosting network, who travel outside of Israel, are secular. They don't keep kosher. But those who do keep kosher, it's their responsibility, not yours. And they'll often travel with their own pots and pans and cutlery and everything. Now, there's various ways people can participate in the hosting network. I've listed 10 here, okay? The first one, and this is the main one, this is the main way 99.9% of people participate in the hosting network as a host. A private host, these Israelis are coming to stay in a private person's home. But we also have room for commercial accommodation. Now, we're not looking for commercial accommodation. However, if some of our hosts have some kind of commercial accommodation, like a campground, backpackers, hostels, motels, they run their home as a bed and breakfast, we have room for that, and we can advertise them for free on the HIT network in exchange for some kind of deal or discount or extra added value or something to our HIT members that come to you through the HIT network. Now, for those people who can't have Israelis come and stay in their home, we have what we call social hosting, where you might invite them to come and have a meal with you. You might like to take them out for a day trip, fishing, boating, skiing, whatever, horse riding, whatever it is you do in your part of the world that you would like to take the Israelis, you can do that. You're not required to as a host, but for social hosting, if this is something you would like to do, you're very welcome to. Something else that's very handy, especially if you live in a capital, is picking up from the airport and taking them to wherever they are staying. It's always so much nicer to arrive at an airport and someone is picking you up. Or you might just invite them to come and have a coffee with you, or a meal, or something like that. Have a refreshment stop. Maybe you stop and have a shower or something if they're camping. Another way you can participate, even if you don't keep Shabbat and the Jewish holidays, perhaps you might like to invite Israelis to come to your home and show you how to do it. Tell them to come and do a Shabbat meal at your home, and to celebrate the Jewish feast with you. Perhaps you can go with them to Jewish meetings or Israeli meetings. It's amazing that the Israelis, when they're outside of the country, how they're looking for Jewish feel, Israeli feel, or focus on Israel meetings. Another way people can participate, if you run some kind of business that tourists use, it may be in New Zealand it's bungee jumping and skydiving, whitewater rafting, things like that. It could be some kind of hospitality, so like restaurants or cafes or things like that, jewelry shops, other things that tourists generally use. We can also add them to the HIT network as what we call a service. This is a service, and what we do, we advertise you for free in exchange for a deal or discount, value added something for those who come to you through the hosting network. Another way people can participate is to provide jobs for the Israelis, either paid work or work in return for food and accommodation, a bit like woofing. I don't know if you've heard of the woofing network, where people just work for a few hours a day in exchange for food and accommodation. We also, maybe you might be some kind of organisation looking for volunteers in orphanages, schools, hospitals. Especially in third world countries, we've got a few of our hosts actually are looking for volunteers to come and work in their particular community project. So this is another way people can participate. Now we've got a brand new hit website about to be launched, and we've got 3 new ways that people can participate, which we're really excited about. One is this long-term board and rent. Israelis, sometimes they go overseas to study or to work, and they may be looking for somewhere to rent. This might be something that you can do as well. Yeah, for the times when they need a longer stay, not just overnight or just a short stay. The second one on the new hit website is house minding. If you're going away and you would like someone to come and look after your house and look after your animals and water your plants or whatever, then this is something else that we're hoping to set up with a new hit website. And this house exchange or house swapping, this is something we're really excited about. The hosts will be able to swap homes with other hosts in the network in their own country or perhaps on the other side of the planet. Yeah, so our hosts can connect with each other, with like-minded people who love Israel and the Jews. This last one is our future thing. What we'd love to do is to set up some things in Israel for our hosts. At the moment, we don't really have anything in Israel for the hosts, but we find that once you start hosting Israelis in your home, they will say, come and stay with us. But we would like to set up accommodations for hosts in Israel, connect you with congregations, and perhaps offer volunteer opportunities in Israel for our hosts. But this is something in the future. So the next few photos are photographs of hosts in New Zealand. We've been running HIT in New Zealand since 2000, so for 19 years. This lady here, Kia, she's a Maori lady who lives in Tarangi in New Zealand. This is a Shabbat meal. She's got 15 Israelis there, and 2 of them are from Omri's kibbutz in Israel. But she's wonderful. She has hundreds of Israelis come through her home every year. This is a homeschooling family in New Zealand, Tony and Vicky, and their 10 kids. And the Israelis are family-minded, and they just love homeschooling families, and they love to go be a part of it. And the homeschooling families love the Israelis because they teach them Hebrew, they teach them about the Jewish culture, and they just love to meet the descendants of their Bible heroes. Now, so what is it really like to host? What's it really like? So this is a short 2-minute or 3-minute presentation by a host in New Zealand. Some of these hosts have been hosting for 10, 15, 20 years in New Zealand, and you can just hear some of their short stories.
I would just encourage people who are interested in hosting Israeli folk to do so. My family's been hosting Israeli travellers for about 10 years now.
My wife and I have been hosting Israelis in our house for about 2 years.
Over the last 10 years, my family and I have had hundreds come and stay with us, and it has been a pleasure.
It is so easy to share the love of God with the Israelis as they come and stay in your home.
Israelis go into my home all the time, and they're so open.
They just can't understand it. For starters, it's probably why they ask, why do you do it?
A few hundred we've hosted, we've had no bad experiences.
We've had some that have just been couples, we've had a group of 6, and each group that have come in has been really great.
We've come to not only just meet them, but we've come to know many of them a lot below the surface, and we just enjoy them so much.
We've made lots of friends.
Just lovely having Israelis in your home. They're always gorgeous. They are lovely.
There's lots of music and food and a lot of talking and excitable discussions.
Mainly as they travel from her house to her house, I think. Yeah. And so they start piecing it together.
I host them because they're just Israelis and I love them.
They also teach us a lot about the Jewish culture, the different feasts, the different times of the year, and we find that really satisfying. And to share with Israelis, the Passover was just a highlight, and we really had a lovely time that evening.
We just see this as one little opportunity that we can really bless Israel in return.
We've learned a lot about another culture. We've been able to teach them about ours.
We recommend that people take part in HIT and join up with HIT because of the blessing that you will receive.
And I host Israelis and I love it.
Get involved with the HIT program, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
So I recommend to host Israeli travellers.
It's a great way to share your faith. Most Israelis come and say, why do we do it?
If you love people and you want to serve God and share the love of God, do HIT. I recommend it to anyone. It's a great give and take and enjoyable experience.
So I'd encourage you to be part of the HIT program and just enjoy being able to be hospitable to these lovely folk.
They are fantastic people to have in your home. They're very gracious and accommodating, and they always leave with a happy smile on their faces.
Okay, so when Omri came to the Jerusalem LCJE meeting in 2015, and up until then, I can't even see it, this is the New Zealand map there. Up until then, it had only been in New Zealand, and he'd just finished one 3-month tour of Australia, and I think he gathered about 30 hosts or 40 hosts in that time. So he's just expanding it out of New Zealand into Australia 4 years ago. Now we have nearly 4,000 hosts in 53 countries around the world. We've been travelling for 10, 11 months of the year, and our aim is to have a meeting every day in a different town every day. So this is the way we've been working, and yeah, we're pleased to see how the HIT network is growing. Now this is New Zealand. This is what New Zealand looks like. This is what 800 hosts, a little country, looks like. And we would love every country to look like this one day. This is 19 years of work by Omri, so in building it up. Now the red dots are hosts, and the blue dots are the services. You know, they're discounts. So yeah, we really love every country to look like this one day. So this is Australia. This is all outback, so nobody lives out there much. Yeah, there are these little tiny towns out there, and we have been to these towns, and we've had meetings in these towns, and yeah, it's just amazing. You know, this town here was like 8 hours drive from nowhere. From here to here is 8 hours drive. We went to a little home group. I think there's about 8 people there, and they signed up, and they called us the next day and said we've already got our first request. So yeah, so this is so most of Australia's population lives in this part, and this is where most of our hosts are. So I'm Australian, and this is my dot here. I met Omri when he first came to Australia in 2015, February 2015. He landed in Perth, and then he worked his way east, and I went to his meeting there, and he told, listened to this amazing, powerful presentation about the importance of giving the gospel to the Jews, and this amazing idea of hosting them in your home. He also kind of jokingly said, I wish I had some on-road secretaries to help with the work. Now in my past, I've been doing travelling ministry for 25 years. I had been doing for 25 years. And I had stopped doing it for 2.5 years because my dad needed help home on the farm. But 2 days before, my dad had sold most of the farm, and I went to this meeting, and I just thought this was just amazing timing. I love travelling, I love ministering, I love Israel and the Jews, and I love giving the gospel, and it's just like, I just couldn't believe that God could combine all of these things into one job. I joined him on the road a week later, and have been travelling with him most of the time since. We've also, the last 2 years, we've spent a lot of time in Europe, in Eastern Europe, in Central Europe, and in Northern Europe. We haven't been into Western Europe. We haven't been into Eastern Europe, as you can see. You can usually tell where we've been and where we haven't. We haven't been in Southern Europe yet. We've only got a few hosts in Southern Europe, but you can see where we have been as well, especially in Germany and the Netherlands. It's amazing. So, so if you know, we're planning to go to these other parts of Europe. So if you know anybody there that might be interested to invite Omri to come and speak, or if you know people who may like to host Israelis, a lot of Israelis families are from these areas, so yeah, they go back there. So yeah, be good. North America is next. Now, considering we haven't been here yet, we've got 55 hosts here already, which is, I think, is pretty amazing. But yeah, it's a fair way between hosts though. And Omri just told me just last night that in June, over 100,000 Israelis flew to America just in June. So there's massive amounts coming here. They often do the across the country travels, but as you can see, we can't cater for them yet. So we'd really love some help. If you know people anywhere, we're always happy to speak in little home groups, in little towns, or in big churches, or whatever, anything in between, messianic groups, whatever, you know, we're happy to speak wherever the doors open. So if you know other people that might be interested to invite Omri to speak, or would just like to host Israelis, you know, or participate in the HIT network somehow, please come and see me. So these are some pictures of Israelis in the US in the United States of America in the last year or so, just enjoying their hosts. Yeah, there's just a few pictures there. Okay, so how can you help us? I've got some ideas for you. One of the things you can do is to sign up as a host. This is our host application form. We've also got a service application form here. So join as a host. You can also go online, go to our HIT website and click on register and just fill out the details there. It takes about 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on how much information you give. That's one way to help us. That's the main way most people help us. You can also sign up on our mailing list if you would like to receive our newsletter and receive our updates, find out where we are, pray for us, pray for health as we travel, health and safety as we travel, because we're eating food we're not used to eating mostly, drinking water we're not used to drinking, and travelling sometimes in dangerous situations. And yeah, if you could also pray for open doors and open hearts for Omri to speak and for the Israelis to come and stay. Other ways you can help us is through social media. We've got a HIT page and a TOD ministry page. We've got a closed group, HIT group, where the Israelis and the hosts can connect with each other in a closed, so you need to send Omri a message if you want to join that. We also, our personal pages are there. Also recently joined Instagram, because that's where all the young people are. This is where our clientele are. So yeah, HIT International and TOD Ministry have now got pages there as well as our own personal pages. Vega, this is him here. Other ways you can help us is if you can invite Omri to come and speak in your country, or in your town, or in your church, or in your home group, or whatever. And Vega, this is what he did, and he's going to share with us in a minute about that. Or you may be able to refer us to someone who can do that. Another way you can help is we are completely overwhelmed with administration. This background work of making the HIT network run, of processing these host forms. If you know other languages, doing translations for us, translating our forms, translating our videos. So we're looking for help in lots of areas. We're just always up to here with it. So if you know somebody that's got time, or if you've got time and you know have some basic skills in word processor and Excel, I would love to hear from you. Other way you can help us, if you know somebody in Israel, or if you are going to Israel, we encourage our hosts to make some business cards. This guy, Fritz from Germany, he's one of our hosts there. He made these cards and he would be happy to help anybody else make these cards. It's got your contact details on it, but it's also got the HIT website So yeah, if you want to contact Fritz and get him to make these cards, and you can hand them out to Israelis. As an Australian, I have a huge advantage in Israel because I just say, "Hi, I'm from Australia," and they go, "Oh, I want to go to Australia." So I say, "I would love you to come and stay." I'm part of a group of people who love you and would love you to come and stay with us. Come and register with the HIT Network. So Israelis know about the HIT in New Zealand. It's been going there for like ever, 19 years, but they don't realise it's in other countries yet. So if you go there, promote your country as a destination. Other ways you can help is through your mission. You can perhaps maybe put the HIT logo in your correspondence, on your website. Mention HIT in your magazines and articles and things like that. Maybe write articles. You can write all kinds of articles from all kinds of angles about the HIT network. This is why we've got so many hosts in North America, because Israel Today magazine has done 3 articles that I know of, plus other magazines. So now it's time for Vegard to come and talk to you. He works with the Norwegian Church Mission to Israel, and he's going to come and share for probably about 10 minutes about how he came to join with us and some experience with the hosting. Welcome, Vegard.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you want to go back?
No, that's it. We are 175 years actually.
I just
year.
noticed that.
Founded in 1844. It's an old mission, and we met with HIT and Della and Ombre in Lausanne in Berlin for the European, and it was talking about wanting to go to Scandinavia and Europe, and we thought this is a good idea for actually our organization to be a part of something. We are a mission organization, have missionaries outreach, and there is not a huge population of Jews in Norway, maybe 1,400 Jews in Norway. So there are not many Jews. So as a mission organization, trying to reach the Jews, most of our work are abroad, in Europe and Israel. But yeah, we live in 2019 now, and people are traveling, like Della said. And I don't know, have you been to Norway? It's the most beautiful country on earth. No, but Miriam is from Norway, so we think it's beautiful there. And yeah, why not come to Norway? Israeli could come to Norway, and we thought this is actually a great opportunity for us to do mission in Norway. So if we can get people to open up their homes, welcome Israelis, and just out of hospitality and love, have meetings, talk to people. And so we started this, and we didn't know how many hosts we were going to get, so we invited Della and Omri to come, and we thought, okay, maybe we have 30, 40 hosts, but then we reached, I think we have 100 and...
It's close to 200.
Close to 200 hosts in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And so that was overwhelming for us.
Yeah.
So we covered, and Norway, it's not many people in Norway, but we are a long country, from the north to the south, and we covered the most of the country now. And then the Israelis started coming. And that was actually great. And this is going on its own. We thought it was going to be a lot of work for us, but Israeli, they are signing up with HIT, and the hosts are signing up, and they found each other. So they start coming, and this guy, he came to Norway on his bicycle. He is from an Orthodox home in Jerusalem. He's not dressed very Orthodox though, but he was, and is. And he was coming on a bicycle in the top of the north of Norway. And he found HIT, he signed up with HIT, and he stayed with Christian homes all the way down to me. I live in Bergen in the west coast. And he came to me late at night. And it was raining. It's always raining in Bergen. It's called the city of the rain. And that's because when God created Bergen, he said, it's so beautiful, I have to wash it every day. And he surely does. But he came very late because it was raining, and he was so sorry because it was late. But I said, it's no problem, so it was around midnight. And I guess he had been staying with a lot of people that were older than me. And so he came to me, and he was surprised because I was just a bit older than him. And I helped him in to my apartment in Bergen, and he just turned his face and looked at me and asked "Are you a Christian as well?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And then I just saw something in his eyes. He'd been thinking about this while he was driving. Why are you so good to me? Why is it possible for me, an Israeli, to come to Norway and people open their homes all the way and welcome me to stay? And he stayed with me for 2 nights, and we talked about Jesus actually for 2 days. And when this was happening, I was just like, how is this even possible that an Orthodox man from Jerusalem is coming to Bergen, to Norway, and he's living in my apartment, and we are talking about Yeshua? And I think that was really incredible. So for us as an organization, we saw HIT as an opportunity for us. Not like another Israel organization, but like we can partner up, we can do something together, because we want actually Norwegian people to get more involved in Jewish ministry. And this is an opportunity for us as a mission organization to reach out in our own homes. So we are very grateful for HIT, and I hope that more mission organizations around will like partner up with HIT and see this as an opportunity. And I guess you will need that, because there are not many people working in HIT. And as you like go to Europe, go to North America, it would be great if we could help, because we know people, we are there, we know the culture. So for us as an organization, we also said we can follow up on the host in Norway, because we are good in Norwegian, obviously. We know Norwegian culture, and they can actually be a part of our organization and our mission outreach in Norway. So I don't know if you want to say something about this, but think about it. Just don't think, oh, maybe I can be a host, or it's not for me, but think as an organization, how can we help people in our country to get more involved in Jewish evangelism? And I think it is a great idea. Yeah, thank you, Della.
I just want to say, as far as that is concerned, that this is the fifth LCJE conference that I've been to. And so there's a lot of missions organisations that are giving the gospel to the Jews. But Vegard is the only one who caught the vision of how we can help each other in this. We can help each other. He arranged our tour for us, the first 10 days of our tour. And then we wanted to go up in the north, but I don't think you had contacts up there, did you, up in the north? And so we said, all in the south, we're going north. Does anybody know anybody? And we were there for 5 weeks altogether in Norway, and we had meetings almost every day. And we have, I think, 200 contacts now for you, in parts where this 175-year-old mission didn't have contacts in some of these areas, and now they do. And now the HIT Norway is something special, because we've got someone there, we've got an organisation there caring for our hosts. They're following up on our hosts, they're nurturing our hosts, they're training our hosts on Jewish evangelism, which no other country's got that. So we can work together, and it's just been wonderful.
It's a win-win.
It's win-win, yeah. And I just don't get why other missions organisations haven't got it yet. But so thank you, Megan, for that. Now, also this guy's named Paul Cohen. He's married to an Australian. He's been living in Australia for 30 years, I think. He's actually a Dutch Jew. But now his parents are getting older, he's spending a lot more time in the Netherlands. And because he's our host in Australia, but because of the contacts that we have in the Netherlands, the next time he goes to the Netherlands in September, he's actually doing a speaking tour there. And he teaches on the temple. He's got really good, solid teaching. And so his mission organisation, I think he's with Celebrate Messiah now. So he has got speaking opportunities because of his association with HIT. So so come and be a HIT host. Come and join us. Become a missionary to the Jews in your own home. We'd love that. Now, is there any questions? Does anybody have any questions? We've got a little bit of time. Yes.
I have one. So is it common or okay for a host location to not be near where they want to be hiking or doing whatever they do?
Omri says, wherever you live on the face of the globe, Israelis will get there. Yeah, I live on the edge of Outback Australia. I've been a host for 4 years. I've had 2 calls. But I've had 2 calls. I think that's pretty amazing. So it doesn't matter where you are and what you can offer. If you can make yourself available for when you can, that would be great. Yeah, they'll get there. Yeah, any other questions? Yes.
So when they arrive, are they interested in seeing what's around them, or do they want to sit and recover and recharge?
I guess it
and rest?
depends on what they've been up to. You need to talk with them and find out. Yeah, when they call you and see if they can come and stay, or when they first arrive, you can say, well, do you want me to show you around? You don't have to. They're not expecting you to, but if you'd like to, you're welcome to. But yeah, I mean, everybody's different. Yeah, maybe they've just done a 5-day hike somewhere and they just want to stop and do their washing. I don't know. Have some rest. I don't know. Others, yeah, they just want to get go, and they stay night here and night here and night here and just go. So yeah, Australians are good at go. Yes.
But is there kind of an average length of stay?
Mostly it's just overnight, but that depends entirely on your location.
Sure.
Yeah, so yeah, in some places where there's lots to do, if you're in a touristy location, they might stay for perhaps a week. But it's up to you. If you only want them to stay for a night or two, you can write that on your form. There's no problem with that.
If it's 1 night, 2 nights.
Yeah, mostly it's just 1 or 2 nights, but it can be longer if you want it. Yes.
Yeah, obviously you can just tell them, okay, you can stay here for 1 night or 2 nights, so just be open. I think that's good. But I just want to share one more thing from Norway, because there was an Israeli family. I think they had three children, and the parents were coming to Norway, and we had a family host, a Norwegian family that was hosting, and they had also 3 children. So this family, they were talking about, can we come to Norway? And they said, for how long are you staying? We are planning to go around for a week. Yeah, you can stay with us for a week. And they actually, they became very close friends. Wow. So the Norwegian children are now going to Israel to go to different kind of stuff there. And I think that's something beautiful also. It's missionaries also making new friends, making contacts. And so it's a great opportunity. And it's a win-win situation also there. So I guess for many hosts it's really a blessing, because you get new friends. Sure. And we had some Norwegians, they were concerned because they didn't speak Hebrew and they didn't speak English that well, but they signed up anyway, because we think that it's a language of the heart. If you show them you can sleep here, shower, kitchen, that's also, it's a powerful language. Yeah.
That's true. I had some people say to me, I don't speak English very well. It's like, it's okay, do the Israelis. Yeah, was there another question?
I was just, kind of toward that end. So yes. Family, I mean, it's a combination of families or single folks?
Well, it depends. That also depends on your location. In Australia and New Zealand, it's mostly straight out of the army. It's 20 to 25-year-olds, mostly single or maybe partners, coming to Australia and New Zealand. In Europe, it's different. It's a lot closer. They can go there for a weekend or whatever, go to football or whatever. It might be families. It could be anything. But I mean, even in New Zealand, where it's mostly young people, people of all ages use it there. I think the oldest person is a 84-year-old guy who used the HIT network in New Zealand. So most of our experience is in New Zealand, but it can be any age. It could be every age. Yeah.
I was amazed this summer because I got a phone call from an Israeli, and I thought it was a boy in his 20s. I said, okay, you can come it's full in my apartment now, but you can sleep on the couch. And I was, okay, I can meet you there and there. And I went down, and it was a woman in her 60s. It's not always easy to catch the name, and we just talk. But it was okay. So I gave her the bed, and I slept on the couch myself.
Yes.
We have many Messianic Jewish hosts, and is the dynamic different for them?
Yes, we do have some. We do have some Messianic Jews, and sometimes we have Messianic travelers too. Not many, and I always bless our hosts with Messianic travelers. It's just but yeah, there's Messianic Jews on the network as well. Anybody who loves Israel and the Jews is welcome to join the HIT network. So yes, I guess it would be a different dynamic for them. In the New Zealand hosts presenting, one of them is a Messianic Jew there. anyway, yeah, she's not the one that did this, but the one before that, and she's pretty full on, and she's a wonderful hostess to us. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, yes.
So have you been to the States and presented, or all those contacts just from word of mouth?
We have not been to the States yet.
What does it take to invite you to come and present?
You say, Della, can Emery come and present? I go, yes.
And I say, maybe I have enough air miles.
Well, we usually come to a country and we'll spend maybe 3 months there, and we'll rent a car, or sometimes people loan us a car, and we'll just go from town to town to town to town to town, and wherever the doors open, we work out some kind of thing. And so.
Do you have some kind of demographics where you know where Israelis kind of go, like in a country already?
No is the short answer, but they're travellers, they're tourists, so wherever your touristy destinations are, that's where the Israelis will be as well, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, Texas is home. We live in Virginia right now, but it seemed to me that Israelis would come through on their way to Central and South America. They would come through Texas.
Yes.
And
yes. Well, most of the Israelis that leave Israel, they go to India and Nepal and South America. So that's where a bulk of them go when they're going away. But we haven't been to, haven't got into Asia yet. We've got probably maybe about 100 hosts all over Asia. But we've been to 3 conferences, one in Japan, and one in Korea, and one in Nepal, and that's where the bulk of our hosts are. But we really look a lot more, especially in India and Nepal. We're about to go to South America later this year. So looking forward to that. There's a Brazilian guy down there, he's been nagging us for years. Like, can you come? So hopefully later this year. Yeah. So you just let me know if you want to write your contact details here, and I'll send you an email about our proposed tour. We're going to tour now, but we'll put it off until next year probably. Yeah. Any other questions? Got 5 minutes. No? Okay. Great. All right. I'd like to show you one more video then. This lady here. She's a hit agent, we call her. She's in Auckland in New Zealand, which is the biggest city in New Zealand. She hosted with us for 14 years, and she had 4,000 or 5,000 Israelis come through her home. She would go and pick them up from the airport, because in New Zealand they all arrive either in Auckland or Christchurch. She would pick them up from the airport. She would take them to the airport. She would help them with, whatever issues they might have as travellers. She's amazing. I'd like to show you this. It's a 2-minute video or 3-minute video. This is Trish.
Hi, I'm Trish from Auckland, New Zealand, and these are some of the folks that we hosted in the very, very beginning. I'm the hit agent here, and so I meet many of the Israelis that come through Auckland. And over a period of time, the last 12, 14 years, we've probably met at least 5,000 folks from Israel. We've had to cut the little pictures, the little photographs, and put many, many more on the same board, because we're running out of space. And some of the folks we are in contact with, and that's very exciting. Some of the best memories is that we went down to Mercer, a few of us, and one of the gentlemen up here had done 100 parachute jumps, so that was rather exciting. The girls that were with me, we went out and visited him out at Mercer. We've had Hebrew wedding on the front lawn under Huppah, and that was a very vivid memory too. The folks were going to get married at a registry office. Said, no, you can't do that. We have to have a proper wedding. So the lass did all her own everything and organised everything. And with my help, we had a huppah, and we had somebody to bless the marriage. And coordinated with just getting married was the phone call from the mum and dad in Israel. So I vividly remember that. That was very exciting actually. We've actually had a Passover here in this small room with 20 plus Israelis. We borrowed chairs and we borrowed trestle tables. The folks lifted everything out and put it in another room, and so that was something very, very special. It's very gratifying to have input into the lives of young folks on the other side of the world who have come after the army service and who just want to have a soft landing, just want to get away from pressure. So it's a great feeling to be able to help them out when they get to Auckland, help them out with the places to stay, and advice on what to say, what not to say. What happened when I first started hosting, that I was driving around and in my spirit I was hearing all the time, for such a time as this, for such a time as this. I hope that that will be the experience of many, many other folks in other countries too, and New Zealand, who'd like to have that same experience. It spans centuries if you stop and think about that.
Well, thank you so much for coming in to.
I have a question. She brought up a point about just coming out of the army.
Yes.
And in Paris, we as a Kihila hosted a group of former soldiers that were coming for rehab, actually. And they recommended at the time that you not speak to former soldiers just coming out about their experience, because you're not trained as a psychologist. And so have you ever had to address this with people, or is this an issue at all?
Not that I know of. I wish Omri was here to answer this question, because he's been doing it there in New Zealand for 19 years. As far as I know, it has been a big issue, but I do know that some of our hosts have made comments that some Israelis are a little bit of a mess, and it's just lovely that they can come in and just have a home for them.
I would think that if they brought it up, then it would be...
Yeah, it's fine. I think if the Israelis bring it up, it's fine. If they're feeling comfortable enough to bring it up, then I think it's fine. Yeah, so maybe this is a question you can email Omri and ask him. Yeah. Yep. All right, our time is up. If you would like to register as a host, you can either fill out a sheet of paper now, or you can go online, take our business cards. Whoops. Take one of these business cards. If you'd like to be on a mailing list and pray for us and receive our newsletter, please do that before you go. And yeah, thanks so much for coming. God bless you.